South Carolina Real Estate Exam 3 2025, 100 questions with explained answers. Question 1. How do you determine the property taxes for a specific property? Multiply assessed value by tax rate. Subtract exemptions from value. Divide market value by millage. Add appraised and assessed value. Property taxes are calculated using the formula assessed value times tax rate equals annual tax. The assessed value is the dollar value assigned to a property by a public tax assessor for purposes of taxation, which is often a percentage of the market value. Question 2. Two lots, 85x190 and 55.75x120, sold at $2/SQFT. What is the broker's 8% commission? $3,654.40, $828, $9,680, $1,528. Calculation: Area 1 equals 16,150 square foot, Area 2 equals 6,690 square foot, total area equals 22,840 square foot, total sale price equals $22,840 $2 equals $45,680. Commission equals $45,680 0.08 equals $3,654.40. Question 3. In which type of financing can negative amortization occur? Fixed rate mortgage, adjustable rate mortgage, conventional mortgage, FHA loan. Negative amortization occurs when the monthly payments are not large enough to pay all the interest due on the loan. The unpaid interest is added to the unpaid principal balance, causing the loan balance to increase rather than decrease. This is a risk in some ARMs. Question 4. What is the primary characteristic of a variable rate mortgage? Fixed interest rate, extra principal payments, constant monthly payment, fluctuating interest rate. In a variable or adjustable rate mortgage, ARM, the interest rate is tied to an economic index, like the SOFR or T-bill rate. As the index moves up or down, the lender adjusts the interest rate on the loan accordingly. Question 5. What is the term for a water company's right to maintain water mains along the rear of a lot? Water easement, water servitude, water lien, water encroachment. An easement is a non-possessory right to use the land of another for a specific purpose. A water easement is a type of easement in gross that allows a utility company to access private property to maintain public infrastructure. Question 6. What does the covenant of season entail in a deed? Guarantee of clear title, right to possess the property, obligation to pay taxes, maintenance of condition. The covenant of season is a promise by the grantor that they actually own the property, they are seized of the estate, and have the full legal right to convey it to the buyer. It is the most fundamental of the standard deed covenants. Question 7. If a right is not asserted within a reasonable time frame, what may a court determine? Estoppel, lien, adverse possession, abandonment. Under the legal doctrine of laches, if an individual fails to assert a legal right or claim in a timely manner, the court may rule that they have abandoned that right, making it unenforceable against others. Question 8. A landlord collects June rent from 5 tenants, 2 at $345, 3 at $425. What is the total? $1,965, $2,145, $2,135, $2,115. Calculation: $2*$345 plus $3*$425 equals $690 plus $1,275 equals $1,965. This calculation is a basic part of property management accounting and proration during a sale. Question 9. Which of the following is not a function of FNMA, Fannie Mae? Purchasing mortgage loans, securitizing mortgages, providing mortgage insurance, regulating interest rates. Fannie Mae operates in the secondary mortgage market by buying loans from lenders and package them into securities. It does not regulate interest rates. Rates are determined by the Federal Reserve's monetary policy and market competition. Question 10. Which of the following describes the economic characteristics of land? Dust plus situs. Scarcity and immobility. Situs and demand. Indestructibility and demand. The economic characteristics of land are demand, utility, scarcity, transferability, dust, and situs, location preference. Unlike physical characteristics, immobility, indestructibility, these factors determine the market value of the land. Question 11. Kevin attaches pizza ovens to a leased storefront for his business. These items are real property, trade fixtures, chattel, improvements. Trade fixtures are pieces of equipment attached to a building by a tenant so they can conduct business. Unlike standard fixtures, trade fixtures remain the personal property of the tenant and can be removed when the lease ends. Question 12. What does it indicate when a borrower makes monthly payments of $612 on an amortized loan? Interest-only loan, negative amortization, fully amortized loan, balloon payment loan. A fully amortized loan is structured so that each monthly payment includes both principal and interest. By the end of the loan term, the balance will be exactly zero. This is the most common type of residential mortgage. Question 13. Which is not a characteristic of an independent contractor relationship with a broker? Employee benefits provided, flexible work schedule, commission-based pay, control over work methods. Independent contractors are responsible for their own taxes and do not receive employee benefits, like health insurance or 401k from the broker. They have the how and when of their work schedule, unlike employees. Question 14. If a monthly payment is $1,412 and the rate is 11.5%, what is the principal sum? $147,339, $16,260, $18,500, $210,023. Calculation: $1,412 * 12 months equals $16,944 annual interest. $16,944/0.115 interest rate equals $147,339. This formula, interest/rate equals principal, is essential for solving loan-related exam questions. Question 15. General warranty deeds typically include which covenants? Season and quiet enjoyment, estoppel and subordination, warranty and disclaimer, further assurance and liens. A general warranty deed offers the most protection. It includes the covenant of season, ownership, covenant against encumbrances, covenant of quiet enjoyment, protection from third-party claims, and covenant of further assurance. Question 16. An individual who is obligated on a loan and is also on the property title is a agent party, partner, borrower in trust, co-borrower. A co-borrower shares equal responsibility for the repayment of the loan and has an ownership interest in the property. This is common with spouses or business partners purchasing property together. Question 17. Does an agent have to disclose that a property was once used as a dump site to a customer? No. Seller's job. No. They are not clients. Yes. Agent must disclose. No. Buyer's responsibility. Agents have a legal and ethical duty to disclose all material facts regarding the physical condition of a property or environmental hazards, regardless of whether the buyer is a client or just a customer. Question 18. What are the practical essentials required for a valid real estate contract? Offers/acceptance, consideration, legal purpose, writing, notarization, witnesses, title, survey, inspection, pre-approval, disclosure, appraisal. To be legally binding, a contract must have 1. Competent parties, 2. Mutual assent, offer/acceptance, 3. Consideration, something of value, and 4. Legal object, purpose. Most states also require real estate contracts to be in writing. Question 19. Which statement is true regarding real estate sales contracts? Binding only on specific forms. Oral agreements are sufficient. Must be signed by both parties. Verbal offers are binding. While an offer can be made verbally, a real estate sales contract is not legally enforceable until it is in writing and signed by both the buyer and the seller, signifying mutual agreement to all terms. Question 20. A listing agreement in writing creates which form of agency? Negligent agency, implied agency, express agency, ostensible agency. Express agency is created by a clear, formal agreement, either written or oral, where the principal explicitly appoints the agent to act on their behalf. A written listing contract is the most common example. Question 21. A deed restriction prohibiting property transfer to a protected class is legal, void and unenforceable, valid in court, a private right. Any covenant or restriction that discriminates based on race, religion, or other protected classes violates the Fair Housing Act in the 14th Amendment. Such clauses are legally void, meaning they have no legal force. Question 22. The 3-day right of rescission under Regulation Z, TILA, applies to commercial transactions, refinancing a mortgage, primary residence purchase, sale of rental property. Under TILA, borrowers have a cooling-off period to cancel a refinance or home equity loan on their primary residence. Note, this right does not apply to the initial purchase of a home. Question 23. The law providing equal opportunity to select housing regardless of race or religion is Federal Anti-Discrimination Act, State Fair Housing Act, Uniform Commercial Code, Federal Fair Housing Law. The Federal Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, protects buyers and renters from discrimination. It ensures that everyone has an equal right to choose where they live within their financial means. Question 24. In a township, what does Section 11 represent? 1 square mile unit, commercial area, public park, administrative division. Townships are divided into a grid of 36 sections. Each section is 1 mile by 1 mile, containing exactly 640 acres. Section 11 is simply one specific square in that 36-section grid. Question 25. If an appraiser adds land value to the value of improvements, they are using the cost approach, market approach, income approach, sales comparison approach. The cost approach is based on the principle of substitution. A buyer won't pay more for a property than it would cost to buy the land and build the improvements from scratch. Land value plus depreciated cost of improvements equals property value. Question 26. When does the fiduciary relationship between a listing broker and a seller end? Rejecting an offer, hiring an attorney, withdrawing from the market, providing disclosures. Fiduciary duties, cold AC, last as long as the agency relationship exists. If the property is withdrawn from the market or the listing agreement expires, the broker's authority to act for the seller terminates. Question 27. A lot, 50x137, at $4.50/SQFT has a 7.25% commission. What is the commission? $2,234.81, $9,545.20, $1,452.88, $6,762.14. Calculation: 50*137 equals 6,850 square foot. Total price equals 6,850 $4.50 equals $30,825. Commission equals $30,825 asterisk 0.0725 equals $2,234.81. Question 28. Who is not protected under familial status in fair housing laws? Families with kids 18, pregnant women, individuals with disabilities, married couples without children. Familial status protects families with children under 18 and pregnant women. Married couples without children are not a protected class under the familial status category, though they are protected from other forms of discrimination. Question 29. What does escheat mean in real estate? Inheritance transfer, government takeover of property, contract execution, market value appraisal. Escheat is the power of the state to take title to property when an owner dies without a will, intestate, and has no legal heirs. This ensures that no property remains ownerless or without a clear title. Question 30. A property worth $72,000 is assessed at 67%. Tax rate is $6.50/$100. Monthly taxes, $261.30, $312, $389.70, $420.28. Calculation: $72,000 asterisk 0.67 equals $48,240. Assessed value: $48,240/100 equals 482.4 units. 482.4 asterisk $6.50 equals $3,135.60. Annual tax: $3,135.60/12 equals $261.30. Monthly